Warnock, you know the answer to that question. Oh, that's 3 minutes. So hopefully this colloquy is helping you out, Senator
All right.
McCormick.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ranking Member, for our nominees here. Great to see you all. Thank you for your willingness to serve, and congratulations to your family and your nominations. Governor Bowman, I'd like to begin with a question on the U.S. fiscal condition. At the end of FY24, our debt to GDP ratio was 98%. According to the Treasury, that ratio is expected to climb to about 130% over the next 10 years, surpassing our historical high of 106% in the wake of World War II. And so from the vantage point of you being on the FOMC, how worried are you about the national debt in the context of the Treasury markets in particular?
Well, let me start by saying the fiscal responsibility for fiscal matters is that of the Congress and the administration, so I wouldn't want to overstep and criticize the work that you're doing here. But we do recognize, as we're considering the state of the economy, that we're running a budget deficit while we're experiencing a time of full employment. But as we review the state of the economy, it's important that we recognize that the fiscal path currently is unsustainable. The debt is growing much faster than our growth.
Thank you. Mr. Hurley, good to see you. At the Office of Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, I had a chance earlier in my career to work hand-to-hand with that role. It's a very important role. You're going to face the enormous task of protecting America from bad actors using our financial system in every corner of the world. Now, President Trump campaigned on stopping the flow of fentanyl into the United States. It's a top priority. Could you discuss, just at a high level, the elements of the fentanyl supply chain that rely on the U.S. financial system to move money globally, particularly in Mexico and China?
Thanks very much, Senator, and very much enjoyed our conversation and hearing your times at Treasury. So as it's mentioned to your colleagues, not in the building yet. I've been just getting briefings the last several weeks and been extraordinarily impressed by the folks who will be working with me in TFI. I would say my first impression is that the questions weren't being asked on this area. That maybe more broadly, there just has been less focus on the border, and because fentanyl is so associated with the border, I don't know that that we've been asking the questions we could ask. I will say though that with every question I've asked, my sense is enormous enthusiasm to tackle this problem. And the combination of tools that TFI can bring together from the national security side through then through FinCEN and then with our law enforcement partners, I'm very excited about how we can really make an impact on this. And to your point, we've all seen the stories in the press about the money laundering cycles involving the CPC, potentially involving not just our neighbors to the south, maybe our neighbors to the north, and that'll be a priority for me.
Very good. And I hope, assuming you're confirmed, that we could talk further about this, because I do think squeezing the financial system in terms of, it's tens of billions of dollars of fentanyl funding that's going throughout our financial system. I think there's an opportunity there to bring your team to bear if you're confirmed.
I completely agree, sir. I look forward to that.
Mr. Fogel, good to see you again, too. Thank you for being here. If confirmed, you'll be tasked with supporting the American exporter. A major priority of this administration is to create a fair and level playing field for U.S. businesses. So could you outline the ways that an American business looking to export goods overseas is currently at a competitive disadvantage against their competitors in China? And how, in your mind, can we counteract that?
Sure. Thank you for the question, Senator. Good to see you. One of the biggest problems with international trade, and the President's been very clear on this, are actually not only tariffs, but non-tariff barriers. They're very insidious. They're often hard to identify. They can be regulatory in nature and other requirements that countries impose. And the President has prioritized bringing those down. He's been very clear about that. And so, fortunately, Global Markets, the division I've been fortunate enough to be asked to head, that's their probably number one priority, is tackling these barriers. And of course, China is our number one threat, existential threat. They're not a trusted actor, they're a bad actor. And so they often are violating these rules and finding ways around them, and we're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, thank you. And I just reinforce your point that the cost of capital and the degree to which those Chinese companies are benefited from unfair capital practices relative to U.S. businesses is part of, as you say, the non-tariff barriers, the non-tariff benefits that Chinese exporters will have vis-a-vis United States companies. So thank you for your vigilance on that. Thank you, Madam Chairman.